Okay, hi everyone, my name is Danielle Crumley, and in this video I will be using Python 3 syntax to reformat output from SPSS, specifically the output from linear regression analysis. So this project is part of my CSCI E7 class at Harvard Extension School, and this is our wonderful teaching staff from the spring of 2017. So just going into a little bit of what I'm going to be doing in this video. As I said, I'll be using Python 3 to reformat the output from an SPSS multiple linear regression analysis. So SPSS is a statistical analysis program, and it can run this specific type of statistical analysis, and it produces output. But the output's it's very long and in a bunch of different tables. So the whole idea here is just to generate a table using Python 3 syntax that is easy to read and understand. So an improvement upon the raw output, hopefully. So what we'll be needing to do all this is the SPSS statistical analysis program itself. I am using SPSS version 24, and I'm on a Mac OS version 10.12.2. And these SPSS and SPSS client, these are the libraries that I'll be using, the Python libraries that I'll be importing, and actually we will be running the Python 3 syntax within an SPSS syntax window. So I'll show you how we do that in a little bit, but basically you have to just tell it to begin program Python 3, and then you write all of your Python syntax and then end program. And then the data file that I use in this example is it's a publicly available data set. I had edited it a little bit in previous class. I worked with this data, but you can download all of my data from the GitHub account right here, GitHub URL right here, and that'll be my notebook and my SAV file. The SAV file is the data, the SPSS data. So that's just a little thing here. This is kind of the goal of our output, our reformatted output. We want to create a table that looks something like this. So these are our variable names, and these are all the statistic values that I want to grab and make it look like this. So let's go ahead and switch over to SPSS. This is my SPSS syntax window. So it's a .sps file, and this right here is SPSS syntax. It just tells the program to get my data file and to run the regression, and then the Python syntax is down here. So I'm going to just run this part right here, and then you'll see it opens an output window. And this is the actual data set, which we don't really need. So this is all the raw output that SPSS generates from the regression analysis. You have all of these tables just from one regression analysis. So basically what we're going to be doing is I've chosen these values that I want to grab from each table. I'm going to grab values from the model summary table, a ANOVA table, and coefficients table. Grab almost all the values from here. The degrees of freedom and the F and the significance from here, and the R-square and adjusted R-square from here, and then reformat them to make them look better. So I will actually be running the Python syntax in this SPSS syntax window, but I'm going to walk through the code in Jupyter Notebook just because it looks better, and apparently I'm very into readability. So first, we are actually going to use the SPSS client library, which this part here, we gather all the values from the output labels, the output tables that we want, and then later we use the SPSS library to actually generate our new table in the SPSS output. So, okay, so first, in the SPSS client, there are a lot of different modules that help you grab different values from the output tables, and it's quite confusing at first. But the general idea is we're accessing the active output window, which is this one here, and then we're looping through all the output items. So this is an item, this is an item, and we're only interested in the items that are pivot tables, because I said, you know, I just wanted the values from those 3 tables. So basically then what we're doing is looking through each table and grabbing the values that we need. So the model summary table, the ANOVA table, I'm just going to run through the coefficients table to see how we're grabbing the values. And essentially what I'm doing is creating a coefficient dictionary here, in which the keys are the variable names. So where's the coefficients table? So the keys are all of these, and then the values in this dictionary, the value corresponding to each variable name is going to be a list of lists. So it's going to be constant will be the key, and then the value will be a list of lists, and the first list in that list will be B, comma 5.082, and then standard error, comma 0.543, and so on. I would definitely recommend, if you want to run this on your own, to do a lot of print statements and see which values correspond to what and what's going on here, because it took me a very long time. So where are we? Okay, so basically I said these are the values that I was interested in. It was almost all the values from this table except for the T value. So in this syntax here, I am just doing all that what I said, grabbing each of these statistics and the corresponding actual values. And here you see I have rounded the value to 2 decimals, each of these values. So this next block is like a little bit, and again, I was just going through this example, but how I got the values from the other tables was similar, a little bit less complicated. And then I'm actually editing the coefficient dictionary variable a little bit, because I just wanted my values, my table to look like this. So I wanted the B and the confidence interval to be all together in one column here like this, as opposed to, where's our output? As opposed to like this, we have the B here, and then these are the confidence intervals. So I just put those together, doing some concatenation over here. Yes, so I'm changing this so that all the B and the confidence interval together. And then here, we're defining the footnote that we'll be using in our table. And the footnote, actually all the values come from the first 2 tables, the model summary table on the ANOVA values table. And so we just grab those values and put them in our footnote. And then this last part is actually very easy. Once we've grabbed all the labels, generating a new table with the SPSS library. All we do is import SPSS and use this very basic pivot table, create a basic pivot table. You just tell it all of your row labels, column labels, and your footnote. And then basically, once we run that, where's my syntax window? Here we go. So I'm just going to run the Python syntax, and you will see that it generates a table that looks just like the one in my PowerPoint. So I think that's a lot better to look at than you know, all of these tables from one regression analysis. So thank you for watching, and let's see, these are my sources. This is the data set on Vietnam era war veterans, and all of these other URLs here. All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye.